Alrighty, everybody. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode of Life After Infidelity. And I am your host and favorite affair recovery coach, Briaina LaTrice, where we are removing the shame of your decision to leave or stay after infidelity because both decisions will be hard, and I am here to help you navigate your hard. And so, you guys, as we are going into love month, I see I even got one of my self love is the best love. You can't really see it. Okay, there you go. But yes, we are entering into self love month, and I am so excited to have another friend to the show. This topic is going to be super exciting, super fun. I love social media. I have a love hate relationship with social media. I love it for opportunities like this. You guys, I made a post and this beautiful lady answered the call to come and show her expertise on the show. So I am going to bring up Miss Lady V and let her introduce herself. Miss Lady V, welcome to the
Hey,
show.
hey, 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 darling. Thank you for having me. I truly, truly greatly appreciate the opportunity and this time with you. So, hey, everyone.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Well, we are so glad to have you on the show. And real quickly, before we get into it and we get started, just kind of tell the people a little bit about yourself, all of the great things that you do with the work that you do. Mhm.
Individuals how to roar in their greatness, meaning that it's time to awaken the rebel that's what's inside of you and showing you how to release, rebuild, and rebrand your future, baby, because this is your season. And so you might as well just live in your greatness, right? And so that's who I am, and that's exactly what I do is I teach individuals how to be free of their trauma, how not to live in your trauma any longer. And so I help women and men individually, and I also help couples as well. So I'm not the type of person that we just tap on the top of the surface. I'm the woman that goes
Mhm.
down to the sticky stuff, the nitty gritty, all the stuff at the bottom of the barrel that
Yes.
people don't like to talk
Yes.
about. That's who I am. That's where you can find me. I'm down there in the bottom of the barrel because one thing I know is that you can't grow until you break. You can't heal until you wound.
Mhm.
And so you got to get
Mhm.
to the core of that foundation so that you can really get to the root of the problem and then start to heal up. Because if your tree is damaged at the roots, guess what? You eventually gonna fall over and break,
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
die.
You gonna break.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so
Brittle limbs, brittle roots, everything.
everything, everything. If we wanna
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. And Lady V, you just went on it. And so I'm just going to go there. We talk about freedom. That word freedom, man, it's so empowering, right? And even for women who have been cheated on, like freedom. And so I think I want to start there of like, how can one who has experienced infidelity get to this place of freedom? Because they are stressed out and insecure and angry and sad and resentful and like they have all of these emotions. How can one start the work of getting to freedom?
You know, I was once there too, so many times,
Mm-hmm.
numerous occasions, and you start feeling like you're not worth it. You start
Mm-hmm.
feeling like you're not enough. You start feeling
Mm-hmm.
like, what's your purpose? And so many times I wanted to kill myself, and this is what I had to say about learning how to find your freedom is even when you're in your pain, you have to acknowledge it first.
Yeah.
Acknowledge
Yeah.
that, you know what, I am really going through this, because sometimes we don't want to acknowledge it. We're just acting on impulse. We're acting on our feelings. And we don't
Mhm.
acknowledge that these are our feelings. And how do we learn to control what we're going through if you don't acknowledge?
Yeah. And when you say acting on feelings, what do you mean by that? Like if one is angry, they just kind of acting out in anger, or if they're sad, they just kind of
Exactly,
okay, okay.
exactly. If we're depressed, we just depressed. If we're, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We're only acting because our mind isn't allowing us to really process the and
Mhm.
channel what we're going through. And
Mhm.
so again, that's why we're just acting on our feelings. Because for especially as women, we're survivors. We're always in
Yeah.
survivor mode. And
Mhm.
so it's time for us to really try to learn how to come out of survivor mode and be in our living mode. We don't want to just be existing. We don't want to just be surviving. We want to actually be able to live a healthy, uh, stress-free life. And so
Mhm.
being able to acknowledge these triggers, that was the one thing for me, is being able to acknowledge it and saying,
Mhm.
I am angry. I am hurt.
Mhm.
I am sad.
Mhm.
I am depressed.
Mhm.
I had to acknowledge it first. And then I had to say, you know
Mhm.
what? Okay, now that I know this, how do I take care of it? Well, I decided that I wasn't going to just sit in my trauma. I was going to go get help because I
Okay.
didn't have the tools that I needed to be able to overcome the situations that was going on in my life. And so I needed some help. And so I went to God first. So I prayed.
Mhm.
Meditate. That's really the one thing that I had to do, was stay in prayer, because I was so angry that it was to a point where one night, this is my confession. I like to be very transparent with people, but one night I was so in my anger that I literally
Mhm.
stood over the bed and watched him sleep, and in my mind I wanted to kill him. My mind
Mm.
said kill him right now. I could smell his blood.
Wow.
And when you get to
Yeah, that was anger.
exactly, when you get to that point, you have to know how to start bringing that back. And I could have literally
Mhm.
just reacted
Mhm.
real fast and went on and did it. But
Mhm.
my spirit, because I had to go into prayer real fast and ask God to
Okay.
start taking this anger away from me. And let me tell
Mhm.
you, there is
Mhm.
definitely power in prayer. Power in
There is.
and I had to
There
ask
is.
him, Lord, please take this away from me. Take this anger that I'm feeling right now, because baby, I'm about to do something that I know where it's gonna land me. There's no, what they say, do not pass go, do not collect $200. I'm going straight to
Yeah.
jail,
Yeah.
okay?
Go
Straight
straight to
on
jail.
a
Going
one
straight
way
to
ticket,
jail.
baby. On a one way ticket. So I had to pray and ask God, please immediately. And he wasn't answering fast enough, and it was crazy because I went to take a step towards him,
Mhm.
and my
Mhm.
whole body collapsed.
Really?
Mhm.
Are you serious? I mean, even then, like prayer works. So you might
They
have
say do
prayed
that
something, but you know
what
what I'm
you
saying? But
ask for.
this is the way in which God chose to answer your prayer of like, okay, she don't really want to do this. Okay, so here her body finna collapse. And so there's power in stillness, right?
Exactly.
Um, in this space of be making a rash decision versus taking some time to think about it and reflect on it, right?
Exactly.
Like even one scripture that says, be slow to anger. I'm probably butchering it up or whatever, but like be slow to anger. And so I think that's important for people to understand. I love how you explained that, is that here you were looking at this situation right on and saying exactly what you wanted to do, but you've seen it all the time on social media where women have been cheated on and they've done outlandish things. Somebody sent me a video where
They
a
just
woman
snap.
flushed. Yeah, we snapped, and a woman flushed her husband's mom's remains down the toilet, and he was broken, like so broken. And so I want to talk, talk there because you said you took the time to pray, but talk about the importance of just before you actually act. What exactly should somebody do when they're right there in the pit of the anger?
Stop, pause,
Mm-hmm.
breathe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And in that moment, stop, pause, and breathe. Because what that allows you to do is that actually allows you to recanter with the thoughts that's going through your mind. Because I had to stop, I had to pause and look at this situation. And then I had to ask myself, and because I did stop, I got the opportunity to ask myself, is it worth it?
Yeah. Yep.
Because
Mm-hmm.
had I just reacted like I would have normally done,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I would have found myself in a world of trouble. You know,
Yeah.
I've already
Yeah.
been through the system once for they tried to get me for attempted murder
Mm-hmm.
because I snapped.
Mm.
And I had to understand that if I do this, this is my last chance.
Yeah.
I will never see
Yeah.
the day of light
Mm-hmm.
or the light of day.
Mm-hmm.
However you want to put it. I will never
Right.
see it ever again if I
Yeah.
go through
Yeah.
this. And that really
Mm-hmm.
made me think and stop, pause, and breathe.
Yeah.
And
And think about it made you think about the repercussions too of your
exactly,
actions. Like,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. Because we
Yeah.
have to remember there's always a reaction to the action that was called.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Every action has a reaction. It doesn't matter whether it's
Mm-hmm.
good or bad. Every
Yeah.
action has a reaction. And
Yeah.
so we have to
Yeah.
be mindful of the things that we're doing. And I knew
Mm-hmm.
that I couldn't be here to share my story. Well, I
That's
probably
right.
could have, but I didn't want to do it behind bars, put it like that. And I'm allergic
Mm-hmm.
to metal and silver and things like that. So,
Okay. Okay.
you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't want that in my life. And I didn't want them people in my life because that takes you to another bracket in life. You ain't on no misdemeanor no more. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wasn't ready to destroy my entire life. And I never thought
Mm-hmm.
about my family and friends. I never thought about them through that whole thing. And
Oh
and
wow.
and a lot of times that's what happens when you get caught up in the anger. You don't think
Yeah.
about your family and your friends. You don't care
Your
about
loved
nothing but
one.
what's going
Mm-hmm.
on in that moment.
And revenge.
Exactly. But let me tell you something, and I love that you say that because that's where I was. I'm always thinking like,
Mhm.
you get me, I'm gonna get you tenfold, baby. I guarantee you, you're
Yep.
gonna suffer 10 times harder than you have made me feel. And I
Mhm.
just,
Mhm.
and I've always been on that. But in the midst of that, because I was in the process of starting to go through this journey of healing the old trauma and healing what was going on and trying to find my freedom. And let me tell you something, in the mix of when you are literally trying to find your freedom and trying to be a better person in who you are, if you think that the enemy ain't gonna test you he working overtime on you, okay?
Yes,
Overtime
ma'am. Yes,
because
ma'am.
he knows where your weaknesses are. He knows
Mhm.
that you're just starting this journey. So you're like a baby, you're like a pup in this journey. And when you're a pup in this
Mhm.
journey, he knows that he can what? Kill, destroy you.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Mhm.
he's trying
And that quiets your purpose that God has given you.
exactly. 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 Because he doesn't want you to finish. He doesn't want you to complete that.
Right.
Because he wants to laugh in God's face and say, ha ha ha, I told you.
Yeah. Here's another one I took away. And
Exactly.
that's why I love what you're saying of that's why it is so important to ask those questions. I just posted a blog today that said lessons I've learned after leaving my cheating husband. And one of those was that of like understanding that what I'm going through is bigger than me.
Exactly.
And so we have to sit back and ask, okay, God, this hurts and this is deathly painful, but why do you have me going through this situation? So there definitely is power in stillness, power in asking questions, and power in prayer. Because going back to what you said, you prayed and then you collapsed. So then what happened after that?
So let me just answer that let me just tap in real fast on what you just
Okay.
said, and then I'll tell you about the I'll finish that story too. Now, when we ask God things, first of all, He already know who we are.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But we have to remember that even Jesus struggled.
Yep.
Jesus struggled. God tells us in his basic instructions that we will struggle. Period.
Yep.
We will
Yeah.
struggle. Even though Jesus paid the ultimate price. That's why we're able to be
Mm-hmm.
forgiven. Because his son paid the ultimate price for our lives. But we gonna struggle and we gonna
Yeah.
suffer.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not doing it because he doesn't love us. He's doing it
Yeah.
because that's the only way that we'll understand what our purpose is. Sometimes he has to
Mm-hmm.
drive us into our purpose because how
Mm-hmm.
can you
Mm-hmm.
actually live your purpose if you don't know what your purpose is? How can
Exactly.
you actually live in
Exactly.
your purpose if you ain't never been through that purpose?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
if we never was cheated on, we couldn't tell other people how to get through this, what to
Right.
do
You
to
right?
be successful at it.
Yes, ma'am.
Because it's a difference with just saying, hey girl, do it like this, do it like that, that.
Yeah.
Between actually knowing how to actually
Mhm.
overcome it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so that makes a
And
difference.
to overcome it healed too, because people will so called say they overcame it and they're still bitter.
And that's the thing. You have to understand that you ain't overcame it, you just moved over it.
Mm. See
Like
that now that'll proof right there.
yeah, you just moved over it. Meaning that again, you swept it under the rug. That's why I'm
Mhm.
down there at the
Mhm.
bottom of it. Like, hey girl, you missed this. Did this right here.
Mhm. Yeah. And you keep wondering why it's coming back because you ain't pick. You just keep sweeping it, and eventually that wind gonna blow it all. Gonna blow
Exactly.
some of it back out. It may not hurt as much, and like what you're saying, that's why it's so important to get to the root causes of stuff. Because as long as we stay on the surface level, that's us just stepping over it as well.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the reason why I had to understand that I had to literally heal on the inside. I had to literally get to the core of the problem. What is the root
Mm-hmm.
of the problem? Why do I keep
Yeah.
going and accepting these things? And so once I realized what it was, then I started changing my mindset because we have to understand it's right here in the mind. And we also have
It's in
to
the mind.
understand that the enemy will always try to play with your mind when you're trying to do good. He gonna tell you, oh, you ain't worthy. Oh, yeah, he doing this.
Yeah.
Oh, this X, Y, and Z is over here, done, done, done. Oh, this. He's always in your mind. I had to learn how to
Yeah.
put him out of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning
Mm-hmm.
that he no longer has room in my mind to do anything,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
Because now I'm no longer a pup in this in
Mm-hmm.
my spiritual realm because I had to learn how to fight. See, so long,
Mm-hmm.
so many times I was out here surviving. I'm out here fighting, but I'm fighting for the wrong things
Mm-hmm.
because I'm
Mm-hmm.
out here on survivor mode.
Yeah.
And once I decided that once I surrendered, fully to God and said, God, okay, I'm over it. I'm losing this battle and I need your help. He said,
Mhm.
my girl, hold on.
Yeah.
Help is on the way.
Yeah.
And he came to
Mhm.
my rescue. And he
Yeah.
helped me through those times. And let me tell you something. That was the night that I collapsed, was the night I
Mhm.
had to surrender. Because I
Well,
literally
wow.
cried. When I collapsed, all I could do was cry.
Really? Did your husband at the time hear you collapse or?
He never woke up.
Wow.
He never busted a move. He never nothing. And then the next morning he woke up and he woke me up and he said, hey. I said, what's up? Because I'm still so livid. I'm just like, why are you touching me? Why are you waking me up?
Mhm.
Why are you fooling with me right now? Why?
Mhm. Mhm.
What do you want?
Mhm.
And I'm like, what's up? And he's like, I just was trying to find out what happened. I said, what you mean? He said, well, the knife is sitting on my bed, on the side of my bed, and it's just sitting on my pillow.
Wow. You were that close.
And I said, what? He said, did you try to kill me last night? And I said, are you afraid? He said, well, I'm just trying to figure out how a knife got on my pillow.
Mhm.
And it's just laying there. I mean, literally, it was just laying there. And I just was like,
And he still had no idea.
I was just like, you know what? Thank you, God.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
I know that when I collapsed, it collapsed with me.
Wow. Yeah.
But that was God's way of showing him that, baby, I just saved your life, sir.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
saved your
So
life.
after that, what happened? Like, what was y'all's decision? Did y'all decide to try to work stuff out,
Oh, no,
or
no, no.
was that your sign to like to move on?
Yeah, I
Okay.
got to move on. I actually, I got so scared. His mom called me about 2 days after that happening. She said, V, you okay, baby? I said, yes, ma'am. Why? She said, I had the weirdest dream. And I said, what? Because me and her always been on that spiritual level. We always,
Mhm.
I'm saying that was definitely my mother in love. Like I was more married to her than I was her son,
Mhm.
you know? And she said, baby, don't kill my son, please. She said, I'm asking,
Um.
don't kill my son.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just broke down and cried.
Wow.
And I just told her, I said, I almost did. I said, I could smell his
Mhm.
blood. And she just started to scream. And it was that
Mm.
scream as if, you know, that mother's scream
Mhm.
when they baby have literally died or something. She gave me that mother's scream. And she said,
Mm.
oh, Lord, 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 is he alive? I said, he's safe. You can call him. And she
Mhm.
said, but are you
Mhm.
okay? I said, I'm all right. I'll be okay. I just got to find my way out. And she said,
Yeah.
you do that. She said, and then she
Wow.
started telling me about her experience with his dad and the
So
fact
his dad kind of had the same history.
exactly. And so she was telling me about it. And then she said, and then I'll never forget it. She said, yeah. She said, I smelled his blood too. That's why I'm telling you to get out.
Wow. And you know what? It's so crazy how history repeats itself.
Exactly.
Um, my
Exactly.
mom was on the show because she was cheated on. My grandma was cheated on, but also my ex husband. I don't really speak to that, but I'm saying it without saying it. Like,
Right.
it's not removed, is what I'll say. And so it is so interesting the dynamics of like if we don't really choose to heal ourselves,
Exactly.
we'll continue these same old patterns. So,
Exactly. We have to
but
remember
it's a
that for as people and as humans, we don't do what we hear, we do what we see,
that's the truth, ain't it?
you know?
That's the truth.
Yeah,
That's the truth. Because we've never heard our parents, or me, I've never heard my mama say, go out and get you a husband that cheat on you. And maybe my ex husband has never heard from his daddy, go out and blah, 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 blah. But it's what we saw.
exactly. Exactly.
Wow.
We do
Wow.
what we see. That's the reason why I teach people how that it's time for us to unlearn to relearn.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
it's those things that we got in our mind that we really need to unlearn because they're wrong,
Mm-hmm.
wrong information, no
Yep.
morals to it. They just wrong all the way around, just wrong. But
Yeah. Yeah.
we get out of
But we be holding on to them like they are truth.
exactly, exactly because that's we feel like they are the truth, even when we know
That's true.
they're wrong.
That's true.
Because that's what we have been taught. We have been
Yeah.
conditioned to
Mm-hmm.
feel these things right here, to think that this is the truth. And in reality,
Mm-hmm.
it ain't the truth at all. It's just a lie. And if we let
It's just a
go
lie.
of all those things that claim to be true and actually
Yeah.
relearn the actual truth, we can really start
Mm-hmm.
finding our freedom.
Yep. And that's what we're here for, right? Is because one of your popular talks that you talk about is releasing the past, rebuilding the present, and rebranding the future. And I love that word, rebranding the future. But kind of walk people through, just like I know we don't have time to get deep into it, but kind of walk people through, especially women in particular who have just found out about a person, their person has cheated on them. Talk to them about how they can release that past, rebuild that present, and rebrand that future.
Well, first of all, we have to remember that in order for us to release, we have to acknowledge these things. Releasing
Mm-hmm.
means that acknowledging it, they've forgiven it. Not for them, but for you. And that's the
Yeah.
hardest part for us to do is to forgive. And when we can't forgive, then we can't release.
Mm-hmm.
Because how are you releasing and you still not forgiving? You still holding on. That's you know,
That's true.
you just can't do that.
Yeah.
It's
Mm-hmm.
just not possible. So, you have to really acknowledge it and say, okay, I gotta forgive. I had to, for me, I had to be able to forgive him to forgive me.
I'm glad you said that because I was going to ask, is forgiving them and forgiving yourself, are those two different things?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
they really are. Let me tell you something. In God's basic instructions, He tells us to forgive those who trespass against us. That means to forgive them and let it go. Because God is in
Mm-hmm.
control. And if you think for 1 second that they're not gonna get theirs, they are. That karma, baby, she don't care what your name is. She ain't playing with them either.
At all. Do
And
you hear me?
your karma gonna get them because he tells
Mm-hmm.
his basic instructions that vengeance is mine, said the Lord.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I wanted to get back, but God said, "Hold on, honey, wait a minute." So He made my whole body quiet
Yeah.
because He wanted me to know that I'm gonna get him. Don't worry, I'm gonna get him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did. But the thing is, he don't even know that he's being got because he's so caught up in doing that same old mind thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why he's still stuck in the position that he's stuck in.
Mm-hmm. 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 And I think that's why forgiveness is so important because, like you said, it is two different things. And I believe that you first have to forgive yourself, right? Because this is new experience for you. If you have been cheated on, I always say you haven't been cheated on by this person. So it's still a new experience. You have to forgive yourself for everything that you overlooked, all the words that you went back on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like every word that you said, if he did this, I'm not coming back. And then you ended up doing it, right? But when we actually turn forgiveness on ourselves, then it allows us to look at this person in a form of compassion, to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and forgive you because what you're going through is a consistent cycle of turmoil
Right.
that the enemy has you living in because you're not choosing to acknowledge, right, like your faults and how to get out of that. So I love that what you're saying. Forgiveness really is key. And when you forgive yourself, it allows you to see them not from a place of hurt and from anger, but a space of empathy.
Exactly, exactly. Because a lot of times we have to, we do need to forgive ourselves. We need to forgive ourselves
Mm-hmm.
for staying in it and putting up with it for so long. We need to, like you said, we need to forgive ourselves for saying, and a lot of times we wanna act like oh, I didn't see that. Yes, you did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, you
You
did.
need to stop fronting, sis. We
Exactly.
saw a lot of stuff.
Man, you'll be lying and lying and lying and lying and lying to yourself, knowing that you've seen
Woo.
all these red flags, and in your mind, you told yourself, "Oh, I can fix that. Oh, that's gonna be all right. Oh, I'm gonna this." But see,
Mm-hmm.
this is what the problem is with us, especially as women,
Yeah.
is we really don't know what we want because we have not learned us.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
learn
Yeah.
you can start falling back in love with you. Because let me tell you something,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that I didn't love myself until I started loving myself, honey. And you couldn't tell me that I didn't love me, baby. I will fight you if you told me that I didn't love me.
Yeah.
Baby, we going to the streets. You tell me I didn't love
Mm-hmm.
me, I knew you was lying. But then when I really started to love me, I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
fight me. I wanted to
Mm.
fight myself because I
Oh,
realized
wow.
at
Why
that
is that?
point, because I realized that at that point that I really did not love me the way I thought I loved me. Because had I loved me the way I was claiming that I loved me, ain't no way in the
Mm-hmm.
world I would have accepted and put up with half of the stuff that I went through. Because
Yeah.
that's not love.
Yeah. That's not love. Absolutely.
And I
Absolutely.
and a lot of times
Yeah.
people say, "Well, will you do?" No, I didn't because I accepted way too much. When I know
Mm-hmm.
better, and when you know better, you do better,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I accepted that because I felt like that's all I was worth. I felt like
Yes,
that
ma'am.
I wasn't enough because I had been told that all my life. It's these generational curses that we have to start to break. It's these generational
Mm-hmm.
cycles that we need to break and say
Mm-hmm.
no more.
Mm-hmm.
But it starts with us
Yeah.
first. And it starts with us
Yeah.
finally learning how to love us. Because when you finally
Yeah.
learn how to love you, then you will not accept anything. You will literally stand on your boundaries, stand on your ground, stand 10 toes down and be like, nah, baby, I can't even do that. Baby, men walk up to me all the times, popping, popping, popping. Baby, by the time they finish, they be like, I'm sorry, ma'am. You have a blessed day. Thank you. Thank you. Because, and I don't have to be rude about it. It's just the fact that, sir, stop coming to me with this little boy stuff.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Because,
Yeah. Yeah.
see, you so used to popping in at women so quick and so fast, thinking that, oh, and they just, oh, oh, he said, baby, that don't impress me. I'm not impressed at all.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I had to tell a fella the other day, I said, baby, let me just stop you right there, honey. Cause I need you to understand, baby, I'm bill money, not happy meal money, okay?
So you have to tell them, huh? You
Yeah.
have to tell, but that's so important, like you said. That really comes with learning yourself and loving yourself, because then it's easier for you to actually, like you said, set those boundaries, honor those
Exactly.
boundaries. Because a lot of people will talk the talk and say they have boundaries, but they really don't.
They really
But I
don't. They
love,
just following the crowd, baby, because they heard their
mhm,
homegirl say that she had some boundaries, and this
yeah,
and
yeah.
that homegirl over there, and so they doing things, girl. We all doing things. I got some boundaries now. What are your boundaries? I'll wait.
What are your boundaries? Yes. What are your boundaries? But it's like, that's what you're talking about too when you talk about the past, present, and the future. And loving yourself really does take you back to your past, because as you learn to truly love yourself, like you said, you were able to connect the dots of like, okay, well, this is why I didn't do this, because this is how I felt about myself. And I love that, because I can attest to that too, of like, as I started to learn myself and love myself, and really, I would say that either knowing yourself and loving yourself are synonymous in a sense, or like it's is inevitable that you're going to learn how to love yourself more when you learn yourself,
Exactly.
because you know your value and your worth in it. And so is there anything else connected to releasing the past before they move on to embracing where they are in their present?
Well, like I said, we gotta acknowledge it, and then we have to forgive it. Forgive
Mm-hmm.
him, and then forgive yourself for holding on too long. And then once you
Mm,
actually be able to do these simple things, then I like to tell people, write a letter to yourself. Write a letter
I
to
like
your
that.
younger self and tell your younger self, forgive yourself. Literally, wholeheartedly. Literally, write it out and let it all go. Because once you literally write that out and you read it and you look at it, you can be
Mm-hmm.
like, wow. Because I cried some. I had to apologize to my younger self. I had to thank my younger self. Like, well, it was some things that I went through with myself. But once
Yeah.
I finished that and I reread it and then I read it out loud, I felt a sense of release.
Mm.
I felt a sense
Mm-hmm.
of release. But I didn't completely release everything. It took me time because you have to sometimes we try to, especially as women, we think we can multitask. So we think, oh, I can handle this, and this, all these situations, and then I'm gonna release all of them and I'm gonna be good. No, it don't work like that. Trust me, I tried
Yeah.
it, okay?
Mhm.
So I could tell you
Mhm.
it ain't gonna work, baby. I literally had to address every issue individually because every issue individually was part of my trauma.
Mhm.
And I had to
Mhm.
understand where did that trauma lie because
Mhm.
I come from an abusive background. I was molested at the age of 8. By the age of 15, by the age of 10, I was already running away. By the age of 15,
Wow.
I was a madam. By the age of 21, I was a high priced cowgirl.
Mm.
So I had to understand these cycles. Where did they come from? Where did this happen? Where did it start from? And so once I actually forgave him, looked him dead in the face and forgave him, I was able to literally release everything
Mm.
because that's where it
Mhm.
started from.
Mhm.
And I was able to not only release the trauma that he caused me, but the trauma that every boyfriend had caused me. And I was able to talk to each last one of them and share what I felt and how I felt
Yeah.
openly.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
some of them didn't take it well, but they
Mhm.
listened
Mhm.
because we're
Mhm.
older now. And they were
Yeah.
like, wow, I'm sorry for hurting you. I didn't know that I caused that much pain in your life. But
Mhm.
I
So you had just reached out to them?
yeah, hmm
Okay.
I did.
Okay.
I did. Because
What made you decide to reach out to them? Like you said, for some of them, it had been a very long time.
exactly. Because I needed to heal.
Okay.
I needed to put my soul and my spirit back together. I needed to put my heart, my mind. I had to connect everything, and I needed this fulfillness. But I couldn't be clean holding on to all this baggage. It was like I was the
Mm.
bag lady and I was just carrying it. It was like an oversized jacket I was putting on every single day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so once I got tired of carrying it, I just started dressing it. And so I
Mhm.
looked at each situation, each boyfriend, each this, each that, and I literally started tackling them head on, head on, head on. And I
Wow.
started to, and the more I did that, the more I started to feel the difference. And I started to feel a
Mhm.
little lighter. And I was like, well, okay. And then my shoulders wasn't up to here touching my earlobes. They had started to,
Yep.
you
Yep.
know what I'm saying?
Yep. Look, bring your mind down.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? People don't understand that a lot of times we sit like this, not realizing
Mhm.
it because we have that much stress sitting on top of
Yeah.
us. But once I got
Yeah.
rid of that stress and that hurt and that headache, I was able to, wow. They
Mhm.
automatically dropped because I started
Yeah.
taking the baggage off. And I didn't even
Mhm.
realize it until I saw it. And I was like, hey, okay, I can see my ears again. You know?
And it feels good.
It
It
does.
feels really
It
good.
does. It does.
But what about for people who don't have the opportunity to have that type of closure? How would you advise them to navigate s- removing that baggage?
Write it down. Still write it down. Still send a
Mhm.
letter to them. You know what I'm saying? Send a letter to the person that hurt you. And then once
Mhm.
you write it out and you get it all out your system, I'm talking about share and put it all out there of what it made you feel, how it made you feel, the day it made you feel, what you was going through, what you thought about, what the colors was, whatever it is, get it all out and put it all out there. And even if
Yeah.
you can't,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, but still write it out as if you talking to that person and then you talking and then you read your letter and you read it out loud and you say it. And then when you done, burn it.
That's it and that's all.
Burn it. Because
Yeah.
now you can really be able to release and let that go.
Mhm.
And now
Mhm.
that person
And
is gone.
I don't think people realize how important that is. And I don't think people realize how, like you said, how much we carry. And my life coach would always say we're carrying it like we're giving birth to it. And so we walking around pregnant for 10, 15 years. This was
Exactly.
meant to be extracted out of our bodies. And so even if you don't have the ability to physically tell a person, you still have to get it out of your heart, out of your mind, out of your body, out of your soul, out of your spirit, so that you can move forward.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And you need to.
Yeah.
You can't keep holding
Mm-hmm.
on to that trauma or you will never be free. You will always be in bondage to it. I no
Yeah.
longer live in my trauma because I made a decision that I didn't want to live there anymore. So guess what?
Mm-hmm.
I don't look in my rearview mirror, baby. I just keep pressing forward because
Just keep
whatever's
going
back
on,
there
huh?
is just back there. I don't live in my past.
Yeah.
I didn't forget my past because my
Mm-hmm.
past is what made me. My past is
Yes.
what built me to be strong. So I never
Mm-hmm.
forget where I come from. That's why I stay so humble in it. However,
Yeah.
I no longer live in my past. When you go to
Mm-hmm.
that address, you will not find Lady V there because I am not there. You can sit there if you want and you could talk about that over there if that's what you're choosing to do. I'm just not there anymore. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm-hmm.
can tell you how I overcame that. But if you want
Mm-hmm.
me to sit in there, oh yeah, you should go back. No, I don't think so. I don't think so
Yeah.
because I'm
Yeah.
past that. I'm over
Mm-hmm.
here now. And if you want to rock with me, I need you to be over here too. And if you still back there, well then you just got left, baby.
Getting left. Yep. Yep. And so we talk about moving on. Now we're talking about rebuilding the present. Talk to women who are right now in the thick of it. What can they do? What are some strategies they can do to start rebuilding the present?
rebuilding the present means that now, after you have literally released all the stuff that's been holding you back, all the things, all the limiting beliefs, and all the old narratives and the old baggage, once you have released that, now you're able to start rebuilding who you are because you got to rebuild, which means that now you have to learn what you like, what you don't like. And a lot of times, as women, we like what he like and don't even know that we don't like that.
You better say that
Uh,
because we do that.
yeah,
We mold our lives around them. And that's why we be so lost when we get out of it and we be like, I lost myself. You right. You did lose yourself, you sis, because you was doing everything he wanted to do. You at basketball games and no good way you don't like basketball.
don't know nothing about a basketball. Nothing. You don't know the
Nothing.
defense from the offense. But you there.
Nothing. But you there.
Yeah.
You I was
I'm
laughing
talking
at my
about you
mama.
wearing jerseys and everything. You don't know the players. You just know this one player and you just held on. Now you talking about it like you know what you talking about. Girl, bye.
Cause I was laughing at my mom. I was messing with her the other day because she got a little boyfriend now, and it was football season, and this heifer all on YouTube watching football, and like we were talking on the phone one night. She was like, "Okay, I gotta go. I'm finna watch football." I said, "You ain't never watched football. Like I'm 37 years old. When you work at a whole school, and I'll be like, Mama, you going to the game?" And you be like, "No." And so I was like, but it's funny. Like you said, women don't even realize that they are cultivating their lives around their partner.
Yes.
That's funny.
And we do that because we think that if we do that, then they'll love us more, or they'll pay more attention to us, and this and that. And half the time, baby, they don't be paying no attention more than this cue card.
Yeah.
Fair. That's how much attention
Yeah.
they be paying. None.
Yeah.
They, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, like, cause
Yeah.
it's not phasing them that like that. Men are really simple creatures. We make them difficult.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We start making them complicated because we want them to think like us. We want them to be like us. We want them to
Mm-hmm.
like we do, and they just not. They just not.
Yeah.
And we have to
Yeah.
understand that men are men and women are we're women, and we just have to
Mm-hmm.
know how to be in our lane and allow them to be in their lane. And when we
Mm-hmm.
come together, come to a common mutual ground that hey, we can do all these things. Because
Yeah.
sometimes women get so caught up in men that we forget the stuff we like, or half the time we have no idea. And then we say that we like this stuff, and a lot of times we like that stuff because that's what the last partner liked, so we pick that up, and the partner before then we like that because that's what that partner liked, and the partner before, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It's just all these stuff, and then when we really start focusing and learning us and putting us as
Yeah.
a priority because we are
Mm-hmm.
a priority.
Yeah.
Now we like,
Yeah.
do I really even like that?
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's okay. It's okay not to.
Yeah, it's okay. And it's because that's what's making me think of this question to ask you. I was listening to I was on YouTube, and she's a relationship therapist, Esther Perel, and I love her to death. I follow her, and she was saying that we should be more interested in the person and not necessarily the things that they are doing. And so, like you said,
Exactly.
sometimes we'll get lost in, okay, well, he likes football. So now I'm going to start showing interest in football. And that's not really it. And she was saying that there are sometimes, if they enjoy football, like be willing to watch a game or two with them because you're showing an interest in them.
Exactly.
And so, what would you say is the balance of that, of like not losing yourself in what it is that they enjoy, but also showing an interest in them?
It's like this. It's always good to show that you care and that you're interested
Mm-hmm.
in what they care about too. but never lose yourself. That means that if you want to go to the ballet or you want to go to the opera, you want to go to the mall, you want to go do these different things, you still do those things because you like those things. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mhm.
And he should be willing as well to go to these places with you because those are the things that make you happy as well. Because if you're catering to him, he should also be catering to you. It is a 50-50 thing. There is not a, well, I'm doing it and that ain't what I want to do. So you go on and do it by yourself. Well,
Yeah.
that's showing how that we're not equally yoked. And a lot of
Mhm.
times we don't want to admit that we're not equally yoked because we so busy trying to be in these relationships that really are not meaningful for us.
Yeah.
So we're
Mhm.
settling because we're trying to force something so we don't be lonely, so we don't be by ourselves, so we don't
Yeah.
have to feel this. So it's kind of that Betty White thing. Having a piece of man is better than having no man at all, and that's how women are
Mhm.
starting to think and believe because we don't want to be lonely.
Yeah.
I'd rather be
Yeah.
alone and at peace any day of the week, honey. Because if I got to
Mhm.
give up my peace to make you happy,
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
ain't gonna be the one for you. I can tell you that now.
Mhm.
Because at
Mhm.
the end of the day, we should be literally pouring into one another and adding to one another to the substance because things don't make us. It's the substance that make who we are. And if you're not into the
Yeah.
substance of the person, if you're not trying to really find out what your partner is about, you're not interested in your partner. There's no
Mhm.
equally yoked
Mhm.
thing. If you're always,
Mhm.
I like to tell women, look at your situation and ask yourself who's giving more.
Yeah.
And if you find yourself, you steady giving, 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 emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, if you're giving them romantically, all these things, and he's not giving back, why are you draining yourself? Why are you killing yourself?
Yeah. What are you
Because
fighting for?
exactly, because he ain't fighting
Yeah.
for you. So when you gonna
Mhm.
start fighting for you?
Mhm.
Because let me tell you
Mhm.
something. The one thing that I found out in this life is a man who really love you fights for you. He
That's
fights
true.
for you and he fights with you.
Mhm.
Hands down. There's no
Mhm.
questions to it. There's no, oh well, no. He's fighting for you.
Yeah.
Hands down. We have to, and it's okay to wait. It's okay to wait. Let me tell you something. Like I said, I've been in abusive relationships. I've been in narcissistic relationships and all these kind of things. I and because of where I come from, the root of my problem, I did something that I had never done before. And now I look back and I've been celibate for 8 years.
Oh, wow.
But I chose to do that for me because I had to know that I was worth it. And I need the person that's gonna be choose to be with me to know that I'm worth it too. So I don't trust me. I've had marriage proposals. I've had all kinds of stuff, and people think that that's the thing. You know what I'm saying? They think that, oh, well, I'll marry you. No, you're only marrying me to get in my panties, and I'm good on that. I'm cool on that. Like we're not supposed to be lying and playing and perpetrating. Like you're trying
Yeah.
to find a way, and if you think that that's your way, I ain't excited, and I'm not impressed.
Mhm.
Because it
Mhm.
takes more because now I know me. Now I
Yeah.
know what I want, what I don't
Mhm.
want, what I will
Mhm.
accept, what I won't accept. I know my
Mhm.
boundaries. I know how I want it, how I don't want it. And I'm not
Mhm.
taking anything less because I've already
Yeah.
done that to myself. And I know
Mhm.
that I am worth it and I am more than
Yeah.
enough. And if you don't see me as being worth it and more than enough, then I ain't the woman for you. And we could,
Not the woman for you.
yeah, and let's
Yeah.
just keep on pushing. But it's about us actually learning our partners mentally and
Yeah.
emotionally, because that's when you know what type of connection you have. Because if it's
Yeah.
all about material things, baby, you already failed. You might as well go to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And look, Lady V, we could go on all night
we could.
and listen, because it's just life is layered. Like, and that's what I just say that life is layered.
It is.
And but it's beautiful. Like, it's beautiful to go through the changes. I had a quote that I sent out to some people today because we're experiencing change, and I think that quote, look, I'm finna pull it up because I think that that's a beautiful quote to end on today. And it said, let me find it actually. It said, the quote read, "Life is about change. Sometimes it's painful, sometimes it's beautiful, but most of the time it's both." And that's really what life is all about.
Right.
And I hope that what you've learned from this episode is that embrace both sides.
Exactly.
You move forward so that you can rebrand your future, but you also have to look back and reflect and acknowledge the past of what you're going through, because like you mentioned today, your past is what made you. Your past is what made you strong, and we're not nullifying that. But what we're saying is that instead of being ashamed of it, and I like the analogy sometimes, like, instead of hiding it in the trunk, we decide to bring it to the back seat. And then instead of bringing it to the back seat, we decide to put that thing right there in the front seat, in the passenger seat. And it is so precious to us that we buckle it up, but it is not driving us, right?
Exactly.
We choose to drive ourselves and rebrand our future. So I just want to say thank you for this amazing and candid episode. I know that it's going to resonate with the lives of so many people. And so before we get out of here though, because like you already said, you wear so many hats. Tell the people what you got going on, or if they want to connect with you, how can they connect with you in ways that they can work with you?
So right now, in February, this month or whatever, yes, this month I am actually starting the course, Awaken the Rebel Within, Release, Rebuild,
Mm,
Rebrand Your Voice, and it is a 21-week transformation, baby, and this is definitely not for the faint of heart, because it's going to dig deep and spiritually and pull out some things that you may not want to touch just yet, but needs to come on out. And you're going to start
mm-hmm,
getting that about your system and starting to cleanse your system from the inside out, so that you can start to glow, because when you're clean on the inside, you glow on the outside.
yeah,
And so,
that's so fun.
yeah, for real, when you clean on the inside, you glow on the outside because you're happy.
Mm-hmm.
You just, it just starts exuding through you. Even when you ain't even trying to, because sometimes I wake up and
Yeah.
I'll be like, people be calling me, I'll be like, yes. And they be like, gosh, you're so beautiful. And I'll be like, it's morning. What do you want? I'm in my bonnet. I'm in my pajamas. I know I'm looking
Yeah.
crazy. Got matter all on my eyes. Ain't you what? What? And they're like, no, for real, like, you're so beautiful. You're just glowing. And I'm
I love that.
like, okay. But then I had to realize that's because I'm clean on the inside. And even when I'm
Mm-hmm.
feeling
Mm-hmm.
ugly, I'm beautiful. And I know it
Mm-hmm.
because I'm actually free and clean on the inside. And so
Yeah.
I'm doing the course right now. I got a women's anthology that's getting ready to come up and be different, to start releasing. And so I pray that a lot of women come and to the women's conference, because we're gonna do a women's conference as well. But yeah, hit me up on Linktree, Lady VENP. That's Elliot Knight Professional, so ENP, and on Linktree. And man, book a consultation with me. Let's get you on my schedule. because I want to see how I can help you. Even if you don't want to take the course, but you just need some one on ones, hey, I'm always willing to do one on ones as well. You do not have to take the course, but I'm telling you, it will change your life, babe. 21 weeks. It's up to you. It's be the best 21
Yes.
weeks of your life.
All righty. So you said they can go on Linktree, and that will connect them to the consultation link.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
perfect,
Linktree, Lady V
perfect,
E
perfect.
P.
All righty. Well, you heard it here. If you are ready for that 21-day transformation, make sure you go find Lady V on Linktree. I will have the link in the show notes for you guys to connect with her. Definitely go and connect with her, get the consultation, and see how you can help her. You guys, we're at the beginning of 2025. And I want your year to flourish. And the
Let
only way that we can start flourishing is if we choose to release some of that baggage. And Lady V is here to help you do that.
me know.
So I hope so I hope that you guys have found this episode healing and helpful to you all. And again, remember, there is no shame in your decision to leave or stay after infidelity. Both decisions are hard, and we here now, our sister friend to the show, Miss Lady B, we are here to help you navigate your heart. And I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you beautiful people on the next episode. Bye.